is Criatividade e Inovação para a Colaboração, Creativity and Innovation for Collaboration. And this is the agenda for tonight. We will start already with a delay, like Portuguese style. And Mediterranean style, maybe. We'll start now with a panel discussion. We have some guests that we are delighted to introduce you to them. And then we start to a very brief point of situation, state of art of what we are doing with this association, Quarteirão Criativo. It will be like 10 minutes max, and it will be in Portuguese because it will be directed specifically to the community of shops and neighbors of Bombarda. And just after that, we will have an interesting activity that we'll co-create together to build a better neighborhood and try to innovate in the solutions for the problems and for the desires we have in this super interesting hotspot of the creativity in the city. After that, of course, we'll gather, we'll network, socialize with a glass of wine and some food, and we'll go outside, and it will be luckily it doesn't rain, and we'll be lucky enough not to be outside and have a drink and socialize. So this is the plan for tonight. And so why we are here? 3 reasons. One is because we are doing these encounters, these gatherings in a regular manner. The last one was in January 20, so 2 months ago, basically. And we'll plan others to come. Our intent is to join the Bombarda community, and the community is formed by people that live here, people that have their businesses here, restaurants, galleries. This is the different kind of shops and businesses you find here: galleries, shops, restaurants, hotels, etc. But also the people that really enjoy working here or visiting us. There's a lot of care and love for this part of the city, and we want, of course, to welcome those people also to join us and help us to define a better and more prosperous neighborhood for all. So that's one of the reasons. The second reason is because we are doing this event also with the support of ECHN, that stands for European Creative Hubs Network, and that is a network of creative hubs like CRU, like Circus, like Land, and those are examples here in the neighborhood. And there's a program, a scheme of exchange and mobility. And last December I was visiting that guy over there, Mihail. For friends is Misha. Misha invited me to go to Moldova, to Chisinau, to visit Artcor. And I was amazed. I already witnessed the development of the hub, but being there and seeing with my own eyes, it was really a very learning experience, very powerful. And then I invited to come here. He come here often. He likes Porto, so I think it's the 3rd time. But yeah, it brought Oksana. Oksana is over there somewhere. It's also a partner and works in Artcor. And that's why we are also doing this event, because we are exchanging knowledge, and part of this knowledge and part of our experience here with CRU and with Bombarda is what we are trying to do, to weave the territory, the creative territory, and weave all the people, all the contacts we have for a better place to work and live. And the third reason is also because this event is in the context of the World Creativity and Innovation Week. And this is an event that Katja will explain better. It's just started. We are kind of ahead of our time.
Exactly.
we are ahead. We are opening an event in a week that is it's just in April. But now I will ask Katja to explain better the context of this initiative and the correlation with what we are doing here in Bombarda.
Okay. Thank you, Tanya. Hello, everybody. Okay, I need this.
One.
Yeah. Okay, so you see my face there for some reason. I'm really, really happy, not only because I was invited to be the ambassador, the European ambassador for the World Creativity and Innovation Week. No, I'm the Portuguese ambassador, and that is really special to me. So what is my role? This actually is a print screen from the website, from the platform, where you can find all events in between this initiative, not only in Portugal, but in the world. So you choose the country, because we have some people from other countries, so you can see if your country is part of it. Not every country has an ambassador, but every country is there and their events. So you can see what will be happening in Portugal. So my role actually is to incentivize, to stimulate partners, institutions like this one, like this event, that things happen and that creativity and innovation is celebrated. So we are here to celebrate. And officially, actually this started in, it started in 2001. In 2001, Marcy Segal, she's from Canada, a creativity specialist, she thought we should celebrate the 15th of April, which is the anniversary, the birthday from Leonardo da Vinci. I don't know how old you would be now, so we have to count. So that started like this, and later they stretched it for a week until the 21st. And in 2017, the United Nations associated it to the sustainability goals. So now officially the 21st of April is the World Creativity and Innovation Day. So there's a week and the day. We thought a week is not a lot, so we stretch it. So we start a bit earlier, so today is the first event. Actually for Portugal we created an own image. This is the image which friends of mine from the Atelier Nunes Ipa created. This is all voluntary work, as you probably know. So it's fun, it should be fun, so it's a celebration. I have also publicly to say thank you to the designers to create this. And every year there's a special topic. So this year you can see is Inspire People, Connection and Actions. And that's why we are here. So it's connections, actions. And for Portugal, we choose some of the sustainability goals. In this case, we have here 7. And we are here in collaboration. So every partner who was invited to join, but actually everybody can join. So if you have a project, tell me and you join. So it's absolutely inclusive, there's no exclusion. But we choose these topics actually associated to the sustainability goals. We thought this is a more probably that we find partners. So here you see is the 17th Passeiras pelas Metas in Portuguese. And so this is today. So today in Portugal is the first official event. The next will be on the 15th to celebrate Leonardo's birthday. So you're already invited to come to the Mindcheck House. There will be an open day, also the whole day, not the whole day, from 5 o'clock on, with workshops, etc. And then in the area of education and academic, we have a partner, the Turing Center, who is working with schools. So there will be a competition where for students, quinto até o 12th. And they do a kind of Olympic games. I'm creative. You're so Criativo, so they have to invent something. I don't know exactly, that will be then online. So if you are in education in schools, that could be interesting. On academic level, we have 4 partners. This is the ideation from University of Porto and University of Aveiro. Then the Unitcom IAD, it's a design school in Lisbon. Also CIAUT is a research institution from the faculty, architecture faculty in Lisbon. And the other is Escola Superior Artes Aplicadas, which is from Castelo Branco. So these are the partners, and there will be a talk cycle about creativity and innovation in design research. It will be presential, but also online. So if you can't go there, there will be a link and you can participate online. And that goes until May, actually. We start on the 21st. And then there's more program, but not to occupy too much time. I just show you who are the partners. Actually, Porto Digital, who is also present here, will also participate. Fraunhofer, Tech in the area of digital transition and cities. Social transformation, we have here the Centro de Innovação Social, also from the City Council. In business, we have the Porto Business School and a wine company, so GRAP, and in sustainability, the BCSD, who is responsible for incentivate sustainability in companies, in business. And Lipor, perhaps you know, it's the trash company here from Porto and around. Okay, so, but as I said, everybody can be partners. These are initiatives, some are internal, it has to be public, like this one, but some are public, so yeah, you're very welcome to join. And I will pass to Tanja again. Thank you.
Thank you, Katia. Katia Chimel from Mindshake is a partner of Bombarda since ever. She is helping us to also to do these programs and do these activities, initiatives of co-creation, and help us to think together in common solutions. Just a quick break for making some logistic information. If any of you needs to use the bathroom, it's important, right, to know. It's across the street. It's across the street in the lovely restaurants and premises of Take a Break. How convenient. You can go take a break, and just say, hi, hello, I'm from the event, just for them to know that you are our guests. They are also supporting our event, not just with the bathroom access, but also with some amazing food for our guest speakers, but then I will talk about that later on. So let's start let me just make an update also. This conversation, let me go back, about creativity and innovation for collaboration was a kind of a mix of wheels, because actually is what we are doing in Bombarda, but also this challenge of Katia and the week of creativity and innovation came in. And we choose, Katia said, choose one of the topics. Of course, is collaboration, and also has a blue dot. So we chose by the color. We like blue. So we are making this panel discussion also to explore a bit how, because the topic is creativity and innovation for collaboration. How can we use our creativity, because everybody is creative, and we are not talking about culture, we are talking about creativity, the amazing skill of creating new connections between things that are not connected, like in the first sight, and with this we move forward to new solutions, but also to use culture, because we are in a cultural neighborhood, and how this can help us to collaborate better. But in the other hand, how can collaboration also can do the same thing? Collaboration can bring us together to be more creative and be more innovative in the solutions we are bringing for our lives. And also, it's about strengthening ourselves to solve whatever we are complaining of, because you know that the Portuguese culture we complain all the time. I'm always complaining at the coffee, at the morning. I already wake up complaining about stuff. So, and then it's Portuguese people are like that. So how can we?
That's the first thing you see in the morning. He's worried.
I was talking to Misha, because Misha is from Moldova. I don't know if we are also complaining about everything. Okay, we are complaining, and then how can we ourselves also get together and try to act on the things we want to change? So that's the topic, and I will call Marina Vatinik. It's Mrs. Little something in the sea. And Marina, and Mihail, Misha, please come to Joanna. Joanna is the last minute guest. She is one of my, now is one of my new heroes. Because in the beginning we had this set of guests, including Pedro Galego from Meca Studio. He's a neighbor from the neighborhood in Bombarda, in Rua Adolfo Casais Monteiro. But sadly, he's assembling an exhibition in Underdogs in Lisbon. And things are sometimes more difficult than expected. And so last minute I said, Joanna, you are the one. And she was brave enough to accept this completely out of this. It was
so
very
I hope
indecent.
You don't have big expectations. So just to
So that's why she doesn't bring a super elaborated presentation. But this was also a conversation. So all the visuals that we have is also for supporting. I would like, maybe we start with Marina and we try to put your slides on. I will ask you to present yourself and Culture Hub Croatia and Prostor Creative Hub, and connect it a little bit with this topic of how communities, local communities, can change their realities through creativity and through collaboration. I will try to go ahead.
Yeah. Hello everyone. I hope this mic is working. Yes.
No.
No?
But you can use this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Yes, it's not. Okay. Yeah. Well, first of all, I can also start by just saying that in Croatia we also complain a lot. So that's in common already. So yes, I'm Marina from Split in Croatia. I didn't put the map of Europe to explain you where Split actually is, but you can imagine Italy and it's just in front, on the prettier side of Adriatic with lots of islands. Yeah, my background is in culture, heritage, art history, but I've been working a lot at the international level for the last, let's say, 10 years almost. We started also doing our projects in Croatia really by focusing on collaboration. This was maybe the crucial thing for us. We never did anything alone. And the main driver for us was really to try to use creativity to foster change and to really use culture for development. And to bring in some positive and good practice examples from abroad to our own communities in Croatia. We did that really by just starting an NGO. Me and two of my friends from university, we just really wanted to contribute somehow to our communities because we were so inspired by all of these examples from abroad, and this really kind of gave us this spark that we can also do something similar in our city. So Split is the second biggest city in Croatia, but it's also small, as the whole country is. It's located on the coast, so it's really very touristic. It's the main hub, let's say, to go to all the islands that are around. It's a really beautiful place. It's a historical UNESCO site. We have a really important historical center. But recently, of course, in the last maybe more than 5 years, I would say, it became really flooded by this mass tourism that basically it's being really also, of course, positively influencing the development of the country. This is the main source of income for the whole country in Croatia, but of course there are many negative also effects. And I'm going to just show you some videos that we recorded in the last, so we started doing this in 2020. As an organization, we started working in 2017. This is okay, like that. These were just small teasers that we did just to show how the city looks in winter. So basically in Croatia the tourism is very seasonal, so everything happens in summer from let's say June to September, and after that the historical city is super empty, they're just pigeons as you can see. So what happened is basically that I think we were late to react. So here when I see Bombarda, it's super inspiring because there are people living here, there are businesses developing. You can just continue.
Yeah. Play the others?
Yes. And it's super inspiring because what you are doing now here, it comes really in a great moment that you can like really gather all of these people. We don't have people anymore, so we have just closed bars and restaurants every winter, and basically the city is completely dead during winter. So super alive during summer, you cannot even walk in the historical center, but in the winter it falls asleep. And us as a small organization that just started working, we didn't have our own space. Of course, our main aim was to have a creative hub, but we were of course not able to afford that at the time. So we were seeing all of these empty spaces during winter, and we said, maybe this is actually a good opportunity for us. Let's try to do something about it. So it was a reaction, of course, to what is happening in the city, but it was also a need from our side as young creatives who don't have a space. Why not use them at least during the winter? During summer, no one would give it to us, but at least during the winter, we can do something. And so during 3 years, we were repurposing a couple of spaces in the city. We started with 5, and then we were just increasing that number every year. Okay, so maybe now we can go to the next. Yes. So this is basically, we decided to, you can also play it, you can just go in the background.
I'm here for you.
Thank you. We just decided to repurpose some of those closed spaces and open them for the community and the artists who didn't have a place to work, as we didn't. And we made a deal with a couple of business owners from the center, and we convinced them to just believe in us and to have the trust, and we're just gonna use them for a month in January and February, when it's really the worst period to be in Split. It's really awful, it's raining and no one is going out from their house. But we really wanted to just give the people the reason to go to the center, which usually they don't have in winter. So we opened those spaces, we invited some artists, we gave them the spaces which were former restaurants, souvenir shop, exchange offices, for them to use for as open studios. So basically we didn't impose them to do any artworks. We said, just imagine that this is your studio, come inside as it is. So some of them were really full of souvenirs or like lots of different objects. And basically we just told them, use them as a studio. This is going to be an open studio, so you're going to have some working hours. So we kind of obliged artists to have working hours, which is also a bit difficult. But they were up for the challenge, and it was really something new for them as well. They're used to working in maybe some empty spaces or whatever studios that they have, but for sure they never worked in a souvenir shop before. And so they were up for, also some of them really intervened into the spaces that they found. We did artist talks with all of them. Those were really small spaces, but we managed to really try to involve as much as people as we can. But we also opened this opportunity for anyone in the city to adopt the space. And I think this was a really great thing because it allowed people to take ownership of the city, at least in winter, because we all feel like we are losing our city. It's just being flooded with all these tourists. We cannot do anything about it. But we actually gave them not just space to complain, but also space to do something about it. So they actually proposed the activities that they would like to see and do in those spaces. So we had an open call. We said, whoever wants to offer some of their skills that they know or organize an event, you can do it. The only condition was that the event is free and that it's participatory in nature. That was the advantage. So we got a lot of proposals. Of course, in the beginning, it was very weird for people to try to imagine what they can do in these spaces. But as you can see from here, people were really creative. We had this kind of a brunch event with a DJ. We had lots of workshops. different types of creative events that were happening there, and people were really just interested to join and to use the spaces for, this was a theater improvisation workshop. We were also using public space as much as we could, and there was a program, people were invited to join. So this really allowed us, so we did this not only to react to the problem that we found, but also to test our own concept of the future creative hub that we wanted to have in the city. So we were really trying to test it in a distributed way, to create a creative hub at the level of the city, and to really just see what people think, or what they would like to see more, or what they would like to have less. So it was a really good experiment for us. And basically, after 2020, so this was a 2020 version, we did it again in 2021 when we opened more spaces. So we can go further up. No. These are just some images from this. We also had our small co-working space. I mean, this was the first time we were trying to also open our office. This was the smallest co-working maybe in the world. You can see that here we had 2 tables, and we still opened the second table to someone who would like to work with us. And actually people came, and there were like 5 or 6 people who worked that day with us. And we had our coffee there. It was a really nice moment to connect with people and to maybe get to know some people that we didn't know before. And so in the second year, it was easier. Our project became more visible, so more owners wanted to open their spaces. And even though they didn't really understand what is going to be happening inside, some of them expected, when we say artists, some of them expected a painter inside with their brush doing their thing, but this actually artist from Montenegro, she completely transformed the space where what she found. She was just using things that she found inside. She created her installation, so that was also a little bit surprising for people, but also awareness raising, because people usually perceive contemporary art as something super far from themselves, but we actually gave the opportunity for people to come to the studio, to talk to the artist, and to understand the artistic process. So it wasn't just about the result. We didn't even demand the result, but it was about the opportunity for the people to understand what the artistic process actually is. So sometimes they would find an artist using a computer, and they would be like, what are you doing? An artist, maybe they don't expect that the artist is gonna do some research. So it was really interesting for people to discover and to make the connection with contemporary art. We were using exchange offices, just projecting some videos there, tourist agencies as spaces. So you can see that we were wearing masks. This was 2021, so COVID times. But COVID didn't really affect us because these were small spaces anyway, so we couldn't fit 30 people inside anyway. So it was really just as the measurements were allowing us to have 10 people inside. And the artist talks didn't happen live, but they were recorded, so we were just streaming them. So we adapted to the COVID situation as well. And all of this to say that, well, in the 2022, we did the same thing, but in the city of Dubrovnik, which also has, and you probably know Dubrovnik as a super touristy city. So we did the same thing in Dubrovnik. We adapted the same model. We partnered up with a local organization, but in Split, we wanted to value all of this artistic research that was going on throughout the 2 years. We had artists coming from neighboring countries, so Albania, Bosnia, Kosovo, Montenegro, Serbia. We had lots of different artists who participated. We also wanted to make this regional because we don't collaborate enough among the former Yugoslavian countries. So it was also an opportunity to kind of react to that issue. And we did some artistic interventions in the public space, which is also very challenging. Public space is always tricky to intervene to. You need lots of permissions, etc. But at that time, we already opened our physical space. So after many years of experiments and testing and sensing the community, we actually grew our capacity, grew our community, especially thanks to many European projects. So we were at the position in which we said, okay, it's now or never. So we rented our creative hub that we currently have in Split, but we still wanted to continue at least to kind of conclude this experiment in the city. We never imagined this to become a festival because we are a small organization and this requires a lot of work and a lot of funds as well. So since we rented our own space, we were now really focused on that. All the functions that we were using in the historical center now are present in our own space. So we also do open studios, artist residencies, exhibitions, events, etc. And we are keeping that scheme of adopting the space. So every year we launch this open call for local people and other NGOs that can propose their own activities and use our space for free with the same conditions as we had here. And I can show you a little glimpse of that. This was just another of the performances that was done. And this is our space now. So just briefly, it's not a huge space, but it's really comfortable and we like it now, and it's going really well because we are trying to, so as a small organization, of course, we cannot maybe influence on politics and what the city is deciding. We are trying to by doing and by showing things that could be done. But of course, there's only as much as we can do. So we are trying to really use our own space to build our community, to further influence also policy making, etc. But really everything through doing. So there's a workspace, exhibition space, artist residency, etc. And we are also trying to involve the neighbors and the neighborhood as much as we can. So we are really not far from the historical center, maybe just 8 minutes walk. And we are located in a very big modernist building in the ground floor. So of course, everything we do, we have the neighbors in mind because they are also the ones who are shaping our space. We are trying to involve them as much as possible and provide them additional value. So we did this audio guide of modernist architecture in the neighborhood, which is actually a result of one of the artistic residencies that happened in the space. So basically the artist was just trying to take you to different points around the neighborhood to show you this architecture in new ways. So these are maybe the spots in which you would not usually go to. And she's telling you this story. So it's an audio guide, you scan a QR code, and basically you can hear this story. And it's all the outcome of collaboration with the neighbors, collecting their stories, trying to interpret them in a way. So basically, we are really trying to develop in that direction of at least having a space in which can really foster collaboration and participation and provide the opportunity for some kind of change that comes, of course, from every individual, but we are really trying to just provide that opportunity and space for everyone.
I forgot. Wait.
Tá ligado, não?
Yes? No?
Deixa eu estar para cima.
Tá pra cima. Tá?
Agora sim. I forgot to tell you something. Sorry to interrupting. Because it was such an inspiring speech and so interesting stories. What I wanted to challenge you, because after this discussion, we will have an idea generation session. So what I want to ask you is, I will go around to give you some post-its and some markers. And you write on each post-it one idea which come to your mind, which could be applied here in the creative Bombarda quartier. Okay, that could be about tourism, about internationalization, about design, about the community, all the topics you see here. So we have already some ideas coming from what you are assisting here. Okay? Thank you.
And just to say that there's some free spots over here. So if you are over there, you can also join us more close. There's a lot of free spots here. Thank you, Katja. That's an excellent idea. So we can all be inspired already by the speeches and take some notes for the rest. I would ask, thank you, Marina. It was really inspiring and interesting. Here, Joanna is a designer, has a master in design, but most of these latest years she is spending on designing services and not exactly products or communication, or it can also be, right? Can you tell us more about you and what you do, also in Associação Porto Digital?
Hello everyone. As Tanya said in the beginning, I was cast last minute cast, so let's manage the expectations here. Well, we are here to talk about creativity and innovation and how these two buzzwords and big words connect. And as Tanya said when she was opening this event, and very well said, we all are creative, and well, our brain is a muscle that we can work and in order to be more creative every day. And since I was little, I consider myself a creative person, and that led me to the world of design and innovation. I'm a product designer, or if you want, industrial designer, because now when we say product, everyone thinks about UX, UI, and digital. And later on, I decided that I didn't want to do the same thing every year. I decided that I didn't want to make tables every day. I wanted variety in my life, and that took me to the innovation world. I had amazing mentors like Katja on my path, and the late years I've lived in Helsinki and in Mannheim in Germany, working with communities such as these, for example, the Design Factory community, that I know that we have some people here from the Design Factory in Porto. Through all this path, I was missing this sense of purpose. I was missing that kind of thing that, well, we all know what I mean by that, because we want to find our purpose on our job. And because I was doing services and products and helping teams creating them for big companies and big corporates, I was like, maybe I don't want to think about profit all the time. Maybe I want to create things that actually have an impact on the communities. And that led me to Portugal again. I've worked with social innovation and sustainability, and now I'm at Porto Digital. I'm the head of innovation and experimentation team. And well, I want to ask you, how many of you heard about Porto Digital? Okay, quite a lot. Yeah, just because of Bombarda. And how many of you heard about Porto Innovation Hub? Do you connect them? No? Yes? No? No. Okay, now we will, because I will explain everything. Porto Digital is basically an instrument of the city hall of the city, and it serves as a toolbox for innovation and experimentation in the city. And that basically leads us to several initiatives, such as Porto Innovation Hub. Porto Innovation Hub is not only the space that we have that is open for the city with several activities, but also it serves as an internal space for the collaborators of the City Hall to think in a different way. So we open our doors, we inspire them by our different offices space, and then we co-create with them. And also the other thing, when we say that we are a toolbox for innovation and experimentation, is because we do a lot of activities that are participatory, like Marina was saying. Another aspect of Porto Digital is that we serve as a neutral operator, such as a Vodafone or something, but basically we are a neutral company in that sense. Because how many of you use Porto Free Wi-Fi? I have 2 hands in the back, thank you. So let me tell you that you can use, because it's a free Wi-Fi. And basically we are connecting the city in every aspect. So that's one of the things that we do. So we have a large spectrum of activities going from creating services and products, such as supporting the teams of the City Hall to create services such as Cartão Porto Ponto, maybe some of you have it, or connecting the city and connecting like all the bus stations, for example, Porto Free Wi-Fi, Porto Innovation Hub. I don't know if you heard, maybe this is not the community for this, but Eka City, because I know that it's a very different type of group. But we also have, for example, what we call the call for activities, which is basically the City Hall giving financing, let's say, for like these projects or solutions that we can implement in the city that will foster innovation in the city and that will support this innovation community. So basically we have all these type of activities, but our approach is always to focus on the communities, understanding their needs. Either they are internal or external, so citizens or different communities such as Bombarda. But definitely we want to understand the needs, and we are open to create and to collaborate together with all these, with all the citizens. Because at the end, what we are doing will have a big impact in the city, and we kind of, when you are inside this this infrastructure, we have to manage the political side of it and the needs of the citizens. So it needs to be, everything needs to be very, very well balanced in order to have an impact. And all the little details that many of you have no idea have a huge impact. So we need to think all of that through an intense process sometimes. You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Misha. Just to remind you, I don't have a presentation about Artcor, but wanted to ask a question, Marina, and what you related about your activities. From the perspective of community over creativity, what do you think is more important, but in like through the prism of who were complaining in the city? So you were complaining because you didn't have a space. Who else was complaining? Or everybody was just happy with the situation that, yeah, we don't have tourists, everything is closed, everything is chill, so we don't have places to go. Maybe were some other actors in the community who were also complaining and contributing to what you did. And for whom what you did actually had some results, or could have some results, especially like if the summer comes back and the tourists come again, maybe they have some added value in what we will find there.
Yeah, so basically everyone was complaining, but it was interesting because people complain a lot, but they don't do much, and this is mostly because they don't feel like they can do anything as individuals. So it's really important to kind of create a space for them to come and to really try to act and do something. And I mean, even us as young creative people, we also often think we cannot do anything on our own. And this is why this collaboration is so important. And as we talked earlier, it's not something that we learn in school. And it's really important. So first there's that work of teaching people how to collaborate. That's a whole other effort that we need to do. But once they connect to each other, they see how many good things come out of it. And once we started doing this and connecting people, they also continued working with each other. For example, one of the artists also collaborated with one of the owners. They did some kind of a mural in one of the apartments that they have. It's a small thing, but still there was some impact there. And I'm very also happy to see that this year when we opened this Adopt the Space call for our own Creative Hub, one of the women that she's one of the users of the spaces in the historical center that we did this intervention. If you remember, that smallest co-working in the world, actually that was her souvenir shop. And she was really someone who understood what we wanted, and we didn't know her before. Actually, the way we connected with the owners, I was just walking around during summer and asking people, I was entering the shops and asking, so are you open in winter? And they were really skeptical. So everyone thought that I'm some kind of a tax person trying to identify what they are doing wrong. I'm gonna give them some kind of fine, and it was really hard to explain that we are really not thinking anything about that. We're just trying to do a project, and everyone, like most of the people said, no, yeah, great, cool idea, but it's not gonna work. No. They really use me as their kind of therapist and complain so much. But we were lucky also that we stumbled upon people who were not like that woman, her name is Sanya, and her stuff in her store were a little bit different than the other Chinese products that are being sold, and she was really trying to also connect with local artists and sell their things, and she was super open for collaboration. But she's also struggling a little bit to keep that space alive because the rents are super high, so she's also renting. And this year, she's also a math teacher, and she's also exploring some kind of approaches for creative expressions using the body for like therapeutic sense. So she did like a course on all of that, and she wants to share her skills. And this year, when we opened our call for adopting the space, actually she applied to adopt our space this time. So actually tomorrow evening she has an event in our space, and I think that's really beautiful because like it's a really nice kind of outcome of that. So I don't know, creativity or community, I think it's so connected that it's hard to distinguish between or what comes first, what comes second. I think it's really intertwined, and that's the beauty of it.
I was. So that's super inspiring, these stories. But all the time you were talking, I was kind of feeling that one of the secret ingredients for this to happen is people feeling empowered. People feel that they have some safe space to test some crazy ideas that can fail, and they can be seen as a failures, and that's something that you need to be brave about. And I was trying to connect to what Porto Digital and Porto Innovation Hub as a space provide, being connected to municipality, because what we also see this association doing is giving this kind of empowerment to citizens and to the communities, and offer collaboration to have their projects also on board. Do you want, Joanna, to tell me a bit more about it? What kind of projects, what kind of activities, initiatives can a municipality or can, because I'm saying this because I also observe these in different cities, in different municipalities, and sometimes there's almost the opposite. The fear of, whoa, they are co-creating something with a little pen. Whoa, maybe that's dangerous. So how Porto Digital stands on that position?
So I think what Marino's saying is that everything is intertwined, and also, like I said before, we need a balance between the political structure and the community itself, because it's very easy to complain, but it's also very easy to only complain and not thinking about the solution. So we complain because we have a problem, we have a need, and what we do in Porto Digital is basically looking for solutions, sometimes together with the community, in order to answer those needs. But it's very sometimes hard to find that balance, because when we are co-creating with the citizens, they only have their perspective. They don't have the perspective of the city in a more holistic way, and sometimes we need to give them that information so that they can also help us co-create better and find better solutions for the city. So it's definitely hard to find this balancing and looking for solutions that are in a participatory way within the political structure. But definitely we have been doing some work on that, and some of the, as I said before, some of the activities they are internal, because I think it's very important that in order to innovate within the city, the political structure also needs to rethink themselves, and they also need to think in a different way. And that's also a work that we are doing. So we are helping the City Hall teams to rethink their processes. We are co-creating with them their processes, sometimes through digitalization, of course, but we are also trying to empower the community. And that's, for example, one of the reasons that we launched the call for activities. So I think it's a huge opportunity for like Bombarda neighborhood or other projects within the city that they have ideas, they have solutions, they need support, so that they can basically look for their support within the city. And other activities that we are open for the city are, for example, the city cafes. I think it's a very little thing that we do that is open for the community and also for the City Hall teams, but basically is inviting experts in different fields so that we can share the knowledge with the community. And sometimes it's about AI, sometimes it's about service design, but having this informal communication with the community, I think it's what gives them the feel of empowerment in order to co-create with us. Sorry, Tanya, I just remember that we also have, for example, one project. So funded projects, we have a lot. But they are a huge mechanism and a huge driver for the city in order to think how can we a better city. And sometimes it's also important regarding knowledge transfer, because we learn, so within the funded projects, we usually work with other cities. So we learn from them, they learn from us, and sometimes within the scope of the projects, some cities implementing a solution that then we need to replicate here in the Portland. We need to basically adapt that to our context. And what I wanted to say is that cities are very different, right? We have different ways of moving around the city, the territory is different, so the solutions are not just copy-paste, but it's more of a copy-adapt situation that we need to kind of rethink how can we adapt our structure to that if we see some benefits.
Thank you so much, Joanna. That was, I think it is helpful also for us to understand a bit how these organizations that are within the city and that we can collaborate within the city. Because with that cooperations, alliances, we reach more tools to deal with our complaints and our problems. I had so many other questions for both of you and also for Misha, but and I would really like to open the conversation to all. But I feel that we are kind of being late a bit in our schedule, and I also don't want to prolong this after midnight because we will be kicked off by João. I'm kidding, he didn't put a schedule for us, so you need to bear with us. Yeah, so as we are going to meet each other just in a couple of minutes, all together, co-creating these ideas, and applying these methodologies of thinking about ourselves and putting little pieces of the puzzle together so as to move forward. I would like to thank so much Marina, Misha, and Joanna for being here, and maybe we'll speak later with all together. We'll be all together eating and drinking just in some time. Thank you so much for accepting, and thank you, Joanna. And again, you are my hero. So thank you so much, and yeah. And yeah, I don't know if you want to take places or you. And you have some water. So in the way that we don't move so late in our schedule, because we have some work to do. It's not like being here just for having fun and drink and eat. This is like a bait that we made you come, but we want you to work. So I will. Obrigada. I will just read. Thank you again.